Hey, how's it going, guys? Capo here. I just wanted to provide a quick update on progress of my app, AlchaME Factory Planner. So I just want to walk you through some of the latest updates that I've been making in the background. Hopefully with some of these updates and ones that I'm going to make in the near future, I'll have a release date for you guys really soon. But just I wanted to showcase the creation of a plan as well as show some of the progress I've made in the background here. So we're going to start with creating a new plan. So this is a new modal that I put in that will require you to put in a name for your plan. So for the sake of the example here, we're going to call this the steel production plan. And the description field is optional, but me personally, I'll be making big use of this description field just so I can remember my exact intent, or original intent at least, behind creating the plan. And for this video, the reason is going to be showcasing byproduct management and machine variance. So again, completely optional, but for me personally helps me stay organized. So after that, we want to go ahead and create the plan. All right, guys, now that we have a defined plan name as well as an optional description in here, the first thing that we obviously want to do right is add a goal within our production goals panel. So since this is a steel production line, I think it would only make sense to use something steel related. So in this case, I'm going to pick steel gear. I'm going to use coke powder to power this with a machine count as my goal type with one machine. So fertilizer, you can put in whatever you want here. It's not going to matter because this plan doesn't need, or I'm sorry, this goal doesn't need any fertilizer. So we can leave it at seeds. So once we made sure all our settings are good, and another feature I added is actually editing a goal after you create it, which I'll showcase maybe later in this video as well. But if we're sure all our settings are right, let's go ahead and add the goal. So guys, I just wanted to showcase, besides, what the layout looks like now, just how much more stable the layout is. I don't think I went into this in too much detail in my last video, but trust me, it's a lot more stable. There were a lot of bugs before. Some of these nodes were showing up in places where they shouldn't have, and editing the plan shifted things around in a really weird way. But basically, the same functionality exists as it did before. We can move nodes around, we can position this however we want. What we're seeing now is just the default, which is pretty clean already in my opinion, and I worked really hard to get most if not all goals to output in a clean way, just like we see here. So basically the solver, which is the driver and the mathematician behind all of this, no longer scrambles the factory, so it'll always come out clean. Some other QOL and just general UI UX improvements that I made is the auto tidy button. So basically what this lets us do is, I think I may have pressed it a couple times in a clip or two earlier, but basically if we do end up having a scrambled layout like this from us getting a little too overzealous with messing around with where the nodes are, right now this makes zero sense, right? And this can be, a result of us just trying to move things, changing alternate recipes, but the auto tidy button just lets us snap back into this default clean layout as outputted by the solver. So I know we only have one goal in here too, but also wanted to demonstrate that if you select the goal by clicking anywhere within the goal bounds, this blue transparent background here, and hold shift, you can see our auto tidy button turns to by active goal. And you'll be able to click that while holding shift if you have multiple goals in here, for example. And when I add a couple more goals within this plan, I'll demonstrate that. But you can see that if I move something, we'll see that it just fixes the goal that we have selected. Click anywhere outside and you can deselect that as the active goal. Next thing I want to show you guys is a simple machine variant selection that I had implemented, and I think this is a really good goal to demonstrate this, because we both have a crucible as well as a grinder that we can toggle the advanced variants for. So crucible is, I think, an important one to have included because it does affect the amount of heat that our goal requires, right? So if we open our heat panel, which I don't think I had last time as well, which is really useful for figuring out exactly how much of the fuel you selected you'll need to power your plan or power your goal. And as I add more goals in here, we can see that this heat requirement is specific to steel gears. And if we add fertilizer, for example, we'll see another entry for fertilizer. So I think this is really a really like high plan level way to see exactly how much heat you'll need from a both item or fuel per second perspective as well as a heat per second perspective. So that's all in there. So you can see we only need 8.5 right now using standard crucibles. But if I toggle clicking this modal here to stackable and hit apply and open our heat drawer again, we can see that moved up to 9. So that's just from, you know, changing this 1.5 or 2 crucibles to its advanced variant. We need another half coke powder a minute in order to sustainably heat this. So I just want to demonstrate that real quick with a grinder as well. This will have no effect on heat, but essentially it just halves the amount of grinders that we actually need to process this 30 coke a minute to get our coke powder, right? So that's that there. All right, guys, next thing I want to showcase is just where I am so far with byproduct handling. So machines with multiple outputs now expose the byproduct handling controls. So you can see with the case with the Athenor producing steel ingots here, we now have exposed the ingots as a byproduct with one processor worth of steel gear production. We now have a byproduct of 22.6 iron ingots at my current levels. And that's the goal panel here. So be sure to adjust these according to your current playthrough stats. So this is just the amount that I'm getting at my current levels. So we now have that exposed here. So as I said, we have a default mode. I changed this to trash earlier, but a default mode was just to show the byproducts from, you know, whatever machine has multiple outputs. But we do have multiple options to hide them completely, to trash them, which kind of signals our intent that we intend to put these in trash barrels, or to recycle. So these two options I'm still working on. It is implemented at a really simple level. Obviously with recycle, we want it to cycle back into the Athenor and show us that equilibrium math that we now only need, what, like 7.4 iron ingots coming from the iron smelter instead of the 30 that we're putting into it right now. So that will equal out once I fully flesh out this tool. But we now have the ability to pick and choose what we want to do with our byproducts, which I think is super powerful, because it's, for me personally, it's really confusing in game of exactly what I need to do and how I need to deal with the byproduct so that I don't clog up my lines, right? So this is going to be really helpful for that. So stay tuned for an update when this feature is fully complete. But I just wanted to show you guys how I plan to integrate this, and I think it's a lot. It gives us a lot of freedom of, you know, how we want to plan out lines that do involve byproducts. I want to show you real quick just an extreme case of what this can help us do. So as you can see, we have a 2 symbol over the coal input from Stone Crusher to the crucible. Right now it's on the base recipe of coal, but if we switch to stone and coal, which is pretty crazy, right? Because we all know meteorites have, what, like 9 different outputs coming out of here, potentially. And right now they're all hidden, but if I show them, we can see that we're surfacing all the byproducts now from this line. And I'll auto-tidy real quick so we can see what's going on. We have the amethyst, we have the coal, we have the emerald, and pretty much everything else that comes as a byproduct out of meteorites. So we can pick and choose at an individual level, or at a batch level, we just decide to trash them all, which we honestly probably would never practically do in game, but we have the ability to kind of pick and choose what we want to do with each of those, just in case we're using meteorites and the coal out of there in a steel production line. But in most cases, I think we just use the base coal recipe, So in that case, those would just be hidden, and we'd just be using the base coal recipe. I also wanted to showcase the persistence of these plans. So all these options we're picking here, guys, when it comes to what we want to do with byproducts, whether they're shown, hidden, these all persist in the plan and are automatically saved. So we don't have to go back in and toggle. And this applies to everything within the plan, right? Depending on whether we chose to use stackable crucibles instead of the standard, as well as standard grinders versus enhanced grinders, all of that is persisted in the plan. So everything we're doing here is, it's going to be saved work, right? So let me demonstrate that real quick by using stone and coal again and showing them all, letting it save, going back to the plans menu and opening it again. It's all retained within the plan, right? So any changes we make and maybe even share with folks after we've created a whole plan that we plan to show people exactly how we designed the plan in game with our stats, all of it's going to get saved. So demonstrate this again by hiding all of these, closing, auto tidying, and keeping it on the meteorite stone and coal recipe, going back to plans, opening it up again. It's all there, right? So we can see we're still on the meteorite with everything hidden. Go back to coal. So all of that gets retained, guys. So just wanted to showcase some persistence that I've built into the plans here. So guys, I know that was a lot. I've been doing a lot in the background. I probably didn't cover nearly everything that I have done or want to do. I just wanted to provide an update for you guys that are looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to using this in my own playthroughs, so I hope you guys are excited. So just as an overall summary, the planner now supports structured plans, stable layouts, machine upgrades, and configurable byproduct handling, with infrastructure modeling coming up really soon. Just to give you guys a sneak peek of what I'm working on next, and I kind of showed that within the video, is dealing with byproducts that you intend to trash, which will involve showing you exactly how many trash barrels that you need given how much byproduct you're actually producing within your factory. It'll give you the amount of trash barrels that you need, depending on your current logistics efficiency levels, how much each of your belts can actually take. Multiply that by 4, since trash barrels have 4 inputs, and give you an exact layout that you need to deal with your byproduct in exactly the ways that you choose to within the byproduct handling options. So look forward to that. And shortly after that, and I think this will be the last major step in developing this app before releasing to you guys, is dealing with cauldrons. So a lot of you have been asking about cauldrons, and I plan to implement it pretty similar to AlchaME Factory Codex, where you input any 3 items and you get the output given the value of those items that you input into the cauldron. So look forward to that coming out. It's probably going to be a couple weeks here if I'm being realistic. Hopefully sooner than that, but I appreciate all the support and interest so far, guys. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.